Morning campers, it's 6 o'clock, just got up and gonna grab some breakfast. I gotta get up early, man, because if I don't have time to wake up, then I arrive at the class like a zombie. So it's time to get caffeinated, time to get some porridge, oatmeal, however you prefer, and prepare the class. I'll check in a bit later when I'm a bit more awake. The sun hasn't even begun to rise yet. However, the moon's still shining over the ocean, so it's pretty early. Alright, when I wake up, I'll check in again. See you soon. Well, I'm back, a little bit more awake now. Sorry about before, but really, the mornings are brutal before you have a coffee, right? So I've done my business class this morning. And I always feel sorry for them because with business classes, generally you've got three types. The first is the one I've done today. They come in the morning, so before work. So you can imagine, right? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. They come in, they've got their coffee, they've got to speak a different language for 1 hour, and they're motivated. They're nice people, but you've got to try and pick them up. You've got to be that kind of ball of energy that lifts them because they're pooped, basically. You can also get them at middays during their lunch break. And that's also a challenge because they're hungry, they want to go eat, but they've got to do English class. And finally, after work is the other option. Which again, as you can imagine, you've finished work, you want to go home, you're doing English class. So again, you've got to be that ball of energy. You saw me this morning, like zombie type action. And that's half the challenge, is just trying to get yourself up to do that kind of motivational stuff and get those people interested and engaged in what you're doing. And it's a challenge, especially for me early in the mornings. I'm not a morning person at all. Equally, at times, like you can walk there. This class that I've done this morning is about 30 minutes walk from my flat. And you can walk there in the pouring rain and arrive there like a drowned rat, and again, you just got to put a big smile on your face, a big cheesy grin, and make sure they enjoy their class and make sure all your stuff's prepared and all the rest of it. So that does have its own unique challenges. Equally, it's not like an academy where you've got games and projectors, laptops and all the rest of it to help your class go a little bit smoother. Quite often in a business class, you walk in there, you've got a piece of paper. Sometimes they don't even have a whiteboard or anything for you to write on. So you've got to go in. Sometimes there's just nothing there, and or your room's taken by a meeting, and you've got to find a new room. Tons of challenges with business classes, but it's cool. It's always a good challenge, and it's always fun. Interacting with the people there. They're professionals. They're really nice, and they appreciate if you can kind of just go easy on them in the mornings, but still try and push them to learn something. So for the rest of today, it's going to be, well, nothing too strenuous. I've got lunch down at my girlfriend's parents' place. I've got to catch the train shortly. And then in the afternoon, I've got a teens class, again, same level, but different classes yesterday in the academy. I've then got some speaking practice one-on-one with some young kids. We're preparing for a speaking exam in June. And finally, a first certificate class, which is an intermediate certificate, which is very popular here at the moment. I'll be preparing them for my last class of the evening. I'll finish around 9 o'clock tonight. So, as Jason said yesterday in the video, if you saw it, the hours doing this, they're not so many hours, but they are spread out. So you've got to make sure that you can stay focused all day, because you can have a class at 8 o'clock in the morning and then finish at 9. So definitely a challenge, but it's what we do. So I'll check in a bit later on and keep you informed. All right, catch up soon. 5:30 in the afternoon. More coffees, but only one from me. All right, so it's now 9 o'clock, more or less, and the day is over. It's been a long day. You remember me zombied at 8 o'clock this morning. You now see me zombied at 9 o'clock at night. I've been joined by my esteemed colleague here, Mr. Noel Fitzgerald of Irish origin. And he's going to tell us a little bit about what he thinks of his typical Tuesdays and also what he thinks of the hours of teaching English abroad in general. Yeah. So Noel, please, Tuesday, how is it?
Tuesdays, well, thank you very much first. Tuesdays are long but pleasant, which is basically the life of the English teacher as long as you have decent classes. So I get in the morning between 9 and 9:30. I do planning classes, some administration work, some other duties to do with Cambridge exams, which is part of my job. Then I would normally get home at about 1 o'clock. It's not that those 3 or 4 hours are unpleasant. They're pleasant. There's no stress involved normally in that, other than silly little things which sometimes go wrong. But then I get home, I am off until 4 o'clock, and then at 4 o'clock I start again. And I finish now at 9 o'clock at night. Oh. The teaching is pleasant, especially, it depends on the classes, yeah. In the school I work for, there's a maximum of 10 people in a class, which is more pleasant than if you had 30 children in class, which obviously needs much more discipline, and you have more discipline issues. The main problem is just the simple length of time it takes up in a week, and I think that goes for Tom and that goes for all of us. You may teach 3-4 hours in a day, but it can take up 12 hours of your day easily, and I think that's our main complaint.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing it for this for pushing 10 years now, haven't you? So
yeah,
obviously it hasn't deterred you too much because you're still doing it. But yeah, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about the pros and cons of the hours? I mean, you said they are quite long, but...
They are quite long. I mean, the one thing you can do is during the day you can get certain things done. I suppose that's an advantage. I really think I would probably say the hours are more of a con, if you like, than a pro. It takes up too much time. It just simply takes up too much time. But they're pleasant. Yeah, I'm not sitting in an office all day. Yeah, that's the good side of it. There are creative aspects to the job. Each class is different. People are different, and people learn differently. So from that point of view, it is more pleasant. Yeah, and you have to design a class. It's a lot of the time left down to you, depending on where you work. I think some schools are very structured. That wouldn't personally suit me. I enjoy creating a class from nothing. Yeah? Cool.
All right. So it is 9 o'clock. So we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for your inputs.
Thank you.
And for contributing. Let's get out of here. Work's done. So cheers for tuning in. And thanks to Noel.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.